Hi, welcome. I am Theodora and today I will be sharing on how you can help children navigate grief. I am not a therapist, a counselor, a psychologist or any of those, but I share these insights based on my personal experience. I lost my dad at the age of 8. Grief greatly affected me as a child, and the effects later on seeped through my youth and later on my adulthood that I had to intentionally fight and remove some of the things so that I could have my life on course. So without wasting any time, let us start. The first one, talk to your children and encourage them to share their feelings. The second one, explain to them in the simplest way what has happened. Children are very intelligent and they will understand. Don't leave them in a place of wondering and struggling with things on their own or bottling up feelings that could later on in life affect their life. The third one, be present as much as possible. This will give them a sense of security. From my own experience, the times that I was away from my mother, I always felt scared because I thought maybe she would also die and leave me alone. So I believe this for other children as well. They might be scared whenever you're not around or you do not explain maybe why you're away from them for certain reasons. It could leave them in a point of thinking that you too will die. So it's good to explain to them that maybe you're going for work and you'll come back and you'll be there for them. I think it's very important that you encourage your children to talk about the memories of their maybe late father or late mother in regard to which parent has passed on or which guardian has passed on. I found this very helpful in my own recovery journey. Talking about my dad always made me feel relieved. And you as a parent, you can also encourage them to share these memories by you also sharing the good things you remember about your late spouse. It could be very helpful for them. The other one is please talk to your children. Talk to your children in each and every matter in relation to the passing on of their father or their mother. If you do not talk to your children in the pretext of protecting them from hurt, other people will talk to them. The society will talk to them. And whatever they will tell them, you will not like it. And in most cases, it could even be against you. For my own case, I remember as a little child, when my dad passed on, there's some people who came with very controversial information to me regarding my dad's passing on, regarding my mom, and they were very negative things. And on top of saying those things, they were not extending any kind of support. So make sure you talk to your child. If you do not talk to your child will gather information that will make them resent you in one way or the other without you even knowing why your child is actually resenting you. So talk to your child. Openly communicate and help your child process grief. Use whichever skills possible to help your child process grief. I struggled with unprocessed grief as a child. And this affected me because it made me bottle up things based on also several experiences that I went through as a result of the passing on of my dad. So it made my grief so complicated and it almost ruined my life that I, as an adult, had to walk through redefining what my life was. So it is important to openly communicate matters regarding grief with your child so that their life isn't destroyed. That's what I can say, because some things, if they're not checked when someone is young, it's very difficult to change them as they grow on. The other that I think is very important is encourage your child to stay active or to actively cope. Encourage your child to start drawing. That is, if they have the interest in drawing. or encourage them to write. For writing, I could say it worked for me very well, because at that time I did not have a safe space to be able to express exactly what I was feeling, or to express exactly what was happening to me openly. But when I discovered the secret in writing, I was able to pour out my feelings, to be able to share what I missed about my dad, what I needed to tell him and I couldn't tell him. I was able to do that through writing. So encourage your child to write. In writing, there is a sense of security. You don't feel like anyone will judge you in whichever way. And it seems to be, for me, in my opinion, it seems to be the most safe place for a child to grieve. If, for instance, you are far away working and they're staying with someone else, something like that, writing would be the best thing for them to do, or one of the best things to help them through their grief. You can encourage them. By the time I started writing at 8, I could say that I wasn't an excellent writer. I even didn't like writing. It was just something that I picked up. I read how my mom journaled her day-to-day activities by accident, and it triggered in me something that I started writing what I was feeling. The other thing is, if you're planning, or you're in a stage that you would like to move on with your life, maybe get a new partner or start a new relationship, or even get married or remarry for that matter, I think it's very important that you share with your children your next move or your intentions about having the relationship, instead of overwhelming your children by bringing home a partner and then boom, there they are. I'd like to say that this shocking them with a partner without preparing them is going to cause resentment. For some people it's short time, but for others it's a lifetime resentment, that your child just hates you because they'll think that the new partner that you've brought in the family is trying to replace either their mother or father. They'll think that you do not love their father enough, that you're already in a hurry to like forget about him or her. So therefore it is important that you prepare your children very well, that so that your next relationship is not bumpy. In sometimes you find that children will make the life of the new partner very, very difficult, and in most cases some of them who can not withstand will leave, or it will leave you with so many broken relationships because the children are not up for the relationship. So you have to prepare them. Other one is encourage your child to talk to children who have lost their parents, to hear how they have gone through, or how did they manage to walk through grief. But I also encourage that you encourage them after they have shared with their friends. You can encourage them to share with you, and try not to be like judgmental. Try to listen, because if you try to interject here and there, wait for them to finish what they have told you in detail, and then if there are some things that you can sieve out, and then you can redirect if some of the things do not match with your values. Then I'll also encourage you, as a parent who has lost a spouse, please try to connect with other people who have lost their spouses and also have children, to ask them how are they managing to help their children walk through grief. You find that you have a lot of similarities, and you learn from each other on how to help the children get better. Other one, or rather it's a conclusion, is that openly communicate with your children. If you have 1 or 2 children, you can spare some time, talk to them one-on-one about their grief journey, and then also as a family come together, even with the children, as the surviving parent, and then try to talk about the grief. How is everyone feeling? What do you remember about dad or mom? Those things, sharing. Oh, what can we do together so that we can walk through this hard time? Children will always have suggestions. You will always have suggestions. I think walking together through grief is the best thing that you can do for yourself and for your child. I know you may think that, no, they're still young, I cannot overwhelm them with information. I like to say that even a baby suffers when there is separation from the parent. They will cry over time and then they'll get used to it. But even babies experience separation. They will miss the kind of warmth, the voice of the person that they're used to. So even a child, a baby, experiences that separation. What about maybe a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, as the years advance to a teenager? So I think this would be a few suggestions that I have to help you help your child navigate through grief. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you next week as we share on personal development and getting better in all aspects of our life. Thank you. Bye-bye.